We're back with Real Housewife of New Jersey star Kathy Wakili, and she's ready to answer some of your questions. So let's take a look at these questions. When you go out shopping, needing to go to the grocery store in a hurry,
Yes.
Do you feel uncomfortable? You feel that you have to dress up? What happens?
Well, there is a certain amount of that. You know, you worry about the way you look because you may run into someone, and you know you want to look your best at all times. But when you need to go out, you can't be worried about that. You have to, especially if you need something in a hurry. And I'm really not that vain. A lot of times I'll run out how I'm dressed and not even look in the mirror. And then you'll get people that say, oh, I won't post it. I wanted a picture, but I won't post it on social media. And then it'll pop up on social media. And you're not looking your best, but you can't allow that to change who you are.
You have to be you.
You have to be you, and so be it. And you can't get hung up on little things like that. There's going to be pictures taken. There's going to be things that, you know, are said about you. If you allow that to influence the way you act in your real life, then it starts to change you.
Do you read any of that stuff? Do you stay away from it? What do you do?
Well, initially I did. I read, you know, you read everything because you
Right.
want to hear what people are saying about you. But then after a while, you start to just filter it. And, you know, especially on social media, people will say some really nasty things,
Right.
or,
They
you know,
have
they'll
an
have
opinion,
a strong
right.
opinion about something they don't know all the facts on. And my thing is, if you're going to be nasty to me, I will not respond. If you have constructive criticism and you have a legitimate question, I'd be happy to respond.
Right.
But I end up just blocking the negativity because I don't want my positive flow to be interrupted. I don't have time for the negativity.
And I think it's important because, like you said, you don't have time for negativity. And if it's constructive, that's fine. You can learn from it, you can grow, but who needs all that other stuff?
Exactly.
Okay.
So
we're looking here, and do you watch any other reality shows?
Oh yeah, I do.
Like what?
Well, I love the cooking reality shows. So I love Top Chef. I really love Top Chef. I love things that like I love Flipping Out from Bravo TV too, and I love the other housewives too. I love watching them interact with one another, and I feel like you could pick something special out about each and every lady, you know, and that makes them relatable.
Have you learned from some of the other Real Housewives in some way, or no?
Sure, I picked up like some things, like how their strengths. You know, some of the ladies really have a strength for not letting things bother them, and that to me is an admirable trait. You know, so there's always something to learn from everyone.
So oftentimes the show, and we talked about this with you and your husband Richie, but this is one of the questions. Oftentimes the show can create difficulties and challenges with family members.
Sure.
Does that continue off the air? How does that get resolved?
Well, it does continue off the air, unfortunately, but it is reality. And the smart, you know, if you're smart about it, you have to remember that you talk it out, just like anything. You have a discussion or an argument with anyone in your family or a friend or anyone that you have a relationship with. It may get heated, but then after, you need to take some time, cool down, and readdress the situation, readdress the problem, and try to discuss it and resolve it. And you know, if you're smart enough, you resolve it and you move on.
Is it uncomfortable having those problems aired in front of everybody on TV?
Well, sure. Sometimes it is uncomfortable, but that's life. Life is uncomfortable sometimes, and
that's
I think
why we have this book to
exactly.
Take care
And
of
so
that.
whenever I need a little therapy, that's when I get busy in the kitchen and I start making something sweet and sweet thoughts, and always, you know, it makes people feel good. So there's even a section in the book called Peace Offerings, and so there's desserts specifically designed for maybe a conflict or an argument
that you give to somebody
that you could bring over.
Okay,
and
give us one of those peace offerings, not to eat, but just what's one of them in the book?
Well, there's one called the bird's nest, and they're little, and I have dove's nest and bird of peace, and you know, and so just the symbolism in it is really important. And
so sometimes you don't have to say a word; you just go with the dessert, and it speaks for itself.
Absolutely,
right?
because you know, you took the time out to make this beautiful dessert,
Right.
and you know that, let the other person know that you're thinking of them. That's an effort, a time, and it just softens everything up a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
Your daughter Victoria has gone through so much,
Yes.
and it started really when she was 10 years old. So tell us a little bit about how she's doing, and how she's evolved from what happened at 10 years old.
Well, she had to grow up pretty fast, and she was faced with, you know, a difficult challenge at 10 years old. She had a brain tumor. Well, we discovered while she was on vacation. We were on vacation, and she had to have surgery. It was removed. Thankfully, it was removed successfully, and it was benign, and she recovered really well. Since then, she had to face things at a young age that, you know, most kids don't have to face, but she took it in stride, and she flourished, and she's doing really well. And just recently, she had a recurrence. A part of the tumor grew back. The type of tumor that it is tends to branch off. And so a small part grew back, and she was starting to feel some symptoms around her 10-year anniversary, oddly enough. And she went in, doctor examined her and said, okay, we need to go back in and have this surgery. So she did. And 4 days later, she was home. She went back to school shortly after. She recovered. She's doing really well. And I think part of her journey has led her to the profession that she wants to pursue. She wants to be a nurse practitioner, because she wants to help others and let them know that it's okay. You know, you could go through things like that and be okay.
So it's turned around into a gift, even though it's
absolutely.
Right.
And so oftentimes I find that in life, you can find a gift from tragedy or from a hardship.
Right, and you learn from it and you grow.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up, we head right into the kitchen with the culinary goddess, Kathy, who will show us how to make one of her delicious desserts. You don't want to miss it.